Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back Casey Coleman, Renee Wynn, and Ted Davies.
Good morning. That's pretty good for coffee. We'll let it settle in a little while when you're done leasing it. We hope that you enjoyed last night. Was that not inspiring? Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Whew. If it wasn't inspiring, it was at least energetic. And at a minimum, very entertaining when he tried to get off the stage, 5 times? Exactly. Good. It was incredible. Take what you learned last night, that growth mindset, the engagement, the connection, and bring that to your game today. So if you would do that, that would make this conference far more successful to you than for you to spend your time here and make it very, very successful. So now we've got a very great day planned for you, and we're looking forward to having you. So sorry, my coffee's not kicked in yet this morning. Exactly, I've only been talking to myself all day. Exactly. Self, get up. You gotta face the day. So hopefully it goes better for you than it is for me in the talking, and get ready to connect. Let me turn it over to Casey, who can lead you through the rest of this.
Good morning, everyone. We've had a team of volunteers for ELC 2017 who've worked diligently over the past many months to ensure that the content of the conference will help us each go back and make the mission possible.
We'd also like to take the opportunity to thank the ELC Planning Committee. Please stand if you're a member of the 2017 committee. Come on up.
Well done.
I tell you, a lot goes into putting this conference together. This group's been at it for about 9 months. So those of you who want to get involved next year or the year beyond, it's a great event, and it's a lot of fun, and we need a lot of help every year. We'd also like to thank our gold and silver sponsors this morning. Without our sponsors, obviously, we could not put this program on. First, I'd like to recognize our ELC gold sponsors. Up on the screen. There we go. Alfresco, Amazon Web Services, Appian, AvePoint, Bloomberg Government, Box, CDWG, Deloitte, Dev Technology Group, Evolver, Genesis, GovPlace, Level 3, Microsoft, Nobless, Oracle Public Sector, Salesforce, SAP, Sawday Solution Services, and Veritas. Thank you for our gold sponsors. And next, I'd like to recognize our silver sponsors: Attain, BroadSoft Government, BT Federal, ByLight, ClearEdge Partners, Accela, FireEye, Infor, iSAM, Juniper, Carson Solutions, Leapfrog, Nutanix, TrustWave, Unisys, and Veeam. Thank you again for your sponsorship. That is a lot of sponsors. If you picture the ones from last night and today, a ton of great companies helped us out putting this on. I want to thank everybody from last night and today who put energy and their sponsorship dollars behind us. Now we're going to do a little bit of a dive on what we're going to do over the next day and a half. So I'd like to invite Kim McCabe and Dan Chenik to the stage to help us talk about today. And let's thank Dan and Kim. As I think you know, we have 3 tracks, and a lot of work goes into coordinating the tracks. Dan and Kim were our track co-chairs. We're looking to roll some slides, I think. What we're going to do over the next 30 minutes or so before we get you out into the tracks is give you a quick overview of what's going to happen over the next day and a half and give you an understanding of what we're trying to accomplish today and how you might want to try to participate with that. So the quick one-page part of this is, in the morning, you're going to have a choice of 2 track sessions, and we'll go through what those are. And lunchtime today, we're going to come back to the ballroom. We're going to have a great lunch. We're going to have an awards program, short awards program, and have some fun with that. We're also going to look back at lunchtime on all the ELCs, the last 10 ELCs we've had here in Williamsburg. In the afternoon, you get a choice of another track, so 3 track sessions. And finally, at the end of the day, some options to attend a session around mission delivery. In the evening, again, networking, dinner, entertainment from Second City, which should be a lot of fun. And we'll do some more awards in the evening, and we'll graduate our partner class, a great group for this year. Tomorrow morning, a CXO breakfast, intermingling across the tables. We're going to tie in some of the things that come out of today's track sessions in really interactive discussions at your tables. We'll do some highlights from all that. We're going to bring Tony Scott in, and he's going to have a really interesting panel discussion. And we've got a short keynote in the middle that you'll get some message from the White House. So that should be a really, really cool day. And then at lunchtime, you get the choice of grabbing a box lunch, getting back on the road, or there'll be a good government-to-government session, which we have every year, highly successful and really well received. So that's your choice. That's the way the next day and a half will play out. It's going to be action-packed and a lot of fun.
We have organized our 3 tracks around the idea of Mission Possible. So for that, we've got tracks that you can choose from that are consistent throughout the day with the same theme. So the first is mission engagement, and that's engagement of employees, engagement of stakeholders and customers. The second is protection, and obviously this is a risk management and cyber-oriented theme. And then the third is transformation, and that's a familiar theme, but the technologies and the approaches and the art of the possible has moved farther and farther, so that's the third discussion. So pick from the tracks, or you can pick from the type of session that you want to attend. You can mix and mingle as you like. It's all in your program.
Speaking of formats, we've designed the sessions to be interactive or classroom style, so that if you're an introvert or extrovert or really tired or not very tired, then you can pick what's going to work for you. There's also some in shorter bursts, like the ELC talks, and there's some that are a little bit longer with a panel discussion and all of that. So we've geared this towards your learning styles, as well as maybe where your energy is at that point in the day.
So look through the program, see what interests you, and see what aligns with the things that you're trying to learn and connect and take away from the conference, and also where you can contribute, because as Renee said, a lot of the sessions are participatory. So there's an innovation zone where you can go and do some workshops to do some problem solving in small groups.
So we're going to go through now, and we're going to do a quick highlight by track. When you look in your programs, we usually cut it by schedule of the day. So sometimes it's hard to piece together what a full track might look like as it moves through the 3 different formats. So we asked Dan and Kim to come up because they were the lead architects on this part of the project, and just talk briefly about each one of the tracks holistically, why you might want to attend that track, and why we all believe that, and the planning committee believes, that it's really well integrated into the priorities of the administration today and big things that are happening across our community.
So thanks, Ted, and Kim, it's been a great honor working with you on this. We have a great track team, and we'll talk about that. And as you heard from Ted, Renee, and Casey, the goal of today is to really produce content that can inform both the administration and agencies, many of which are here, in their transformation and migration path over the next year, 4 years, 8 years, 20 years. And also help contribute to ACT-IAC's ability to carry forward the message that we all share as a community of government and industry working together to bring improvement. So we have that as sort of the overall theme, and then for each theme, we've got the 3 different track sessions, and I think we wanted to put the slides on the screen as we talk about them. Kim, any opening remarks?
First of all, Clyde, thanks. Appreciate it. You know, this is exciting because what I've been dreaming of personally for a long time is how is it that we can move into the digital era and realize the potential of government in that space. And this particular ELC has really moved that direction. Thanks very much to the 3 of you for your vision on that. And so as we go through these 3 tracks, we've really tried to organize this around how is it that we can help you to understand, to engage in, to dream forward into, and to get some skills in each of these areas. And we're looking forward to you being able to do that.
So we've got the 3 tracks, as you heard about. The first track, which you saw on the screen earlier, if we can get that slide back up there, Mission Transformation. All of these were led by a stellar team of government and industry leaders. This track was led by Stan Soloway of Celerity and Greg Giddens of VA. And really here we're looking at transformation in all its forms: modernization of process, modernization of mission, modernization of technology. How do you bring that together to develop mission improvement? And they are building this session across a set of ELC talks, panel discussions, and then in the afternoon, a very engaging and active session around building a transformation roadmap in the innovation zone.
Can I add something?
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. So, Dan, I want to, actually both Dan and Kim, I want to do something from last night. So last night, Walter Bond spoke to us about effective relationships. And so we've got here a nice blend between the public sector and the private sector. Success is about building trust in order for you to resist the change that you will face wherever or whatever organization you represent. Government doesn't own resistance, nor did Star Wars, that resistance was futile. Right, and so, or actually, was that the Borg?
The Borg.
It was probably the Borg, yeah, sorry. You know, when you make science fiction into fact every day, all the science fiction stuff gets really mixed up in your head. But I wanted to pull on that. This is the place where you, regardless of where you sit at the table, can build on that trust. Because I can tell you, no tool is the answer or the panacea to getting stuff done. It begins with the relationship that you can begin here at ELC. Plant that seed so that you can talk about and learn about what changes are necessary in order, and what processes need to be changed in order for that tool to be successful. So today I challenge you to plant that seed of trust with at least 3 individuals.
And so the transformation track will be take us through that journey of going from change to working together, building trust, to reach an outcome. And so then the second track is around mission engagement.
Thank you. So can I please have Robert Shea and Allison Brigatti stand up? Are you here? Where's Robert?
He's probably planning the
He's probably
track.
planning.
Yeah, he's out.
These are the 2 amazing people who helped us to plan this. I just want to do a round of applause for all of the incredible work. Really does take a lot of work to get these done. So mission engagement is really exciting. We're going to have an opportunity to talk about one of the biggest changes that we're experiencing, which is moving from sort of a process focus to a people or human focus. And so each one of the areas that you're going to be able to go through, both the ELC talk, which I keep wanting to say something else, but the ELC talk, because I can't say the other, and the panels and the innovation zone are going to give you that opportunity. In the engagement zone, for example, you're going to have an opportunity to work with folks who are design thinking experts, and they are going to actually help you to build journey maps. So just as an example of innovation zones really going to be hands-on and an opportunity for you to think more about that transition from what was to what is now most important in our space as we think about driving mission forward.
You know, a word about the innovation zone. All 3 tracks, when they go into the zone, are going to follow the same format as Kim described, as Casey spoke about earlier. Very interactive, led by design facilitators, experts, and it's really all of our chance to roll up our sleeves and go to work. I also want to acknowledge Tim Smith. I don't know if Tim's in the room or if he's, well, there he is. Tim has led the innovation zone phenomenally. Worked with a fantastic team, so that'll be a terrific set of sessions.
Can I weigh in on the engagement piece? This is a topic that's especially close to my heart. When I was a CIO, we used to joke, and probably still do, that the systems ought to work for us, but instead we're working for them. Because and generally the systems that government uses weren't designed with the engagement piece in mind. But the ability to bring design thinking in and to really make a difference, and to not only change the way people work, but to give them the opportunity to focus on the mission instead of grinding through the processes that the old systems require is very exciting.
How many of you are comfortable with design thinking as a capability? Raise your hand. That's great. Okay. I think
Good.
This is one of those opportunities where, whether it's at a systems level and we're thinking about UX and UI and how do we design those systems, or whether it's at an organizational level, think about how it is that our beneficiaries, our customers, our citizens, our workforce, how they experience their journey, the way that they engage with their organizations. I think that this is a great opportunity to bring that in and to start to shift our mindset. So very grateful for that.
Terrific. And our third session, and by the way, with Allison and Robert getting a round of applause, I forgot to give Stan and Greg a round of applause for the transformation track. Stan and Greg. And our third track session is around protection. And this is led very ably by Trevor Rudolph from New America and Ross Nodurft from OMB. I don't know if they're in the room or planning the session, but let's give them a round of applause as well. And this is, again, all around sort of protection in all its forms, both cyber and physical. In the modern world, we have threats coming in from various different vectors, and Trevor and Ross have put together a really dynamite program thinking about cyber protection in the larger context of risk management, a very active session in the Innovation Zone around continuous diagnostics and mitigation, which is framed by ELC talks and panel discussions on either side. So just a terrific set of discussions there as well.
One thing I would add to that is that as we were picking the topics for the tracks that would really guide a lot of today, transformation came to the top of the list. We talked to a lot of folks in government and industry, and transformation, that broad topic, was critical. There was a growing sentiment that engagement would be something really good to talk about. Now's a good time to do that. And you can't do any of that unless you protect what you're working with. So protection has to be built in everything, so it became a natural third track. None of these happen in a vacuum. So we talked about the different formats. You may be very comfortable, with a ELC talk style, which is like a TED talk style. I think I can say that since it's my name.
You're TED.
I can use that, right? So it's a quick burst. If you're comfortable with that style, but you want to touch all three of those tracks, they're going to hang together a little bit. Or if you're deep in one of the areas, you want to stick with it through the three different formats, then you're welcome to do that as well. But the three really were meant to work together.
Yep.
So.
And all the rooms upstairs, you'll see they're all sort of right next to each other. So not unlike past years where the tracks have all been in the same room, each track will flow through the Innovation Zone, which is basically next door, and there will be staffers around to show you. But you'll be comfortable with sort of moving around, and it'll be an action-packed sort of 15 minutes of break and discussion in between, and then the sessions will start right up again.
Yep.
So your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to decide which of these you're going to go to. I know for myself that as I looked at it, I wanted to be like Hermione Granger. Now you all, Hermione Granger, how she could be in more than one class at a time. That was me looking at these, thinking I wanted to be in multiple places. So, choose the ones that are most exciting to you, and feel free to. To reach out to any of us, and we can also fill you in on other tracks should you be interested and you weren't able to attend.
And the last thing I'll say is there will be knowledge capture people throughout the day in all the rooms, so all of the great discussion you have will live on. We'll have people recording, taking notes, and producing content again for ACT-IAC to share with government leaders from OMB, from GSA, from around the agencies as we all work together to move forward in the transformation journey.
The last piece of the afternoon, there's four main segments, 2 tracks in the morning, 1 track after lunch, is something we started out calling a wild card session, because we had a lot of different topics and a lot of interest from people being involved with ELC. Great ideas, and we weren't quite sure how to put them all together. So we left this session at the end of the day, and it obviously connects back up to the major theme of mission possible, making the mission of government better and improved and more effective. So we titled these mission delivery sessions, and there's 5 of them, and you get to pick one. I think this is where you got to decide. You're shape-shifting and time traveling. You have to decide which one you want to do. So we got 5, and Casey, I think you worked in GSA for years.
That's right. The first of these is GSA's Federal Acquisition Service, the year ahead. GSA and FAS have a ton of new initiatives, a ton of new projects, so if you're interested in that, go and find out what's coming.
Great. And the second session, how many people here know what blockchain is? Fantastic. If you want to know more, this session, it will delve deeply with some federal leaders making significant progress on this fascinating technology, which is transforming governments from here to Dubai, transforming industry. Just a terrific set of speakers around this topic.
The third one is going to be about transforming government human capital, which is really focused on shared services, which is a huge topic everywhere right now. And so it'll share the 3 models for for departmental shared services. It should be really exciting.
Great.
And the fourth one is around information sharing in the SBU community. You know, we live in an extremely dangerous world. There are literally tens of thousands of people working to keep us safe. Some leaders from ODNI and other intelligence organizations are going to be here talking about how we share information between fusion centers and other places to keep us safe every day. So that should be a fascinating session.
Great. And then there's modernizing IT, getting more savings and insights. So let me just pause for a second and just let you know that at NASA, it is very difficult to modernize our IT because it's flying around a boatload of planets. And in fact, this past summer, we just ran a Cassini satellite straight into a planet and got some amazing photos from that one. But that's one set of challenges, and it is definitely very unique to NASA's mission. But all other folks should be really thinking about what needs to be different, what should be different, and how am I going to make those changes and transform the IT and allow more people to have insights into what's going on with that information technology, as well as be able to look for cost savings or cost avoidance opportunities.
So those are your 5 choices for the last part of the day before you get a short break, do some networking, come on back. It should be action-packed throughout the day. The last piece of business we wanted to cover this morning before we get you out into the tracks is not necessarily to thank the core team again, which we really should do. Their names are up here. But I wanted to use this to profile a little bit for all of you in the audience that are not as familiar with ACT-IAC, how you can engage with ACT-IAC in the future. So, you know, clearly we want to thank the ACT Executive Committee and the IAC Executive Committees for participating and helping us. The track chairs are here. The ACT-IAC staff, I do want to pause, and we'll probably thank them later, but Keisha, Haley, Carol, John, phenomenal job really supporting this whole thing. I would like to recognize them here as well. This is a major endeavor, and they just do a phenomenal job. And the whole team, Ken and his whole team are here as well. The Institute for Innovation, for those of you that don't know what that is, Tim Smith, we recognized earlier, was the liaison there. But the Institute takes on really fascinating projects, bigger projects that we want to either weigh in on or help the government with. You know, a good example would have been the presidential transition papers that we did earlier last fall. So if you want to get involved with some high-level thinking, big projects, look to the ACT-IAC website and try and get involved with the Institute. Communities of interest. Rick Holgate orchestrates that. We've got 9 communities offering a broad range of topics. They've been centrally involved in planning these sessions, and they do work throughout the year. Big projects, small papers, small forums, other events, lots of opportunities to get engaged. We asked Paul Chandler from the Small Business Alliance to be involved. Those of you that were first-time attendees came to the networking session yesterday at 4 o'clock. They hosted that. Plenty of opportunity to engage in the future with them. Next US, the Next Generation Leadership Group. You're going to hear more about them later on today. They've been involved. They're going to sponsor dessert tonight, so you can go gather some calories and thank that group. The CXO opportunity, Leslie and her team did a phenomenal job planning out what we're going to do tomorrow morning. We had a lot of help from government outreach. Sandy and Michelle did a great job. And we were very fortunate to have a couple liaisons from OMB, Jeremy and Jennifer, helping us kind of think things through how we can make actionable outcomes that will be useful for OMB as we move forward. So it's a bit of a profile and a thank you to that core team, but also a little bit of a primer for folks